Howdy, folks. Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, on a Sunday gaming chat. I'm going to take a wild stab and say that might be the one person that shows up there as probably Chupa, right? Well, regardless, whether you're watching this live or you're watching it on replay, hope you're having a good Sunday. But it does point out to me that the only reason I know what day it is because of being a YouTuber and doing videos on a schedule. It's the only reason I know what day of the week it is. And I know that because I accidentally took my trash can out to the curb on the wrong day the other morning because I thought it was Thursday, but it was only Wednesday. So that's what one of the things of being retired gets you is you lose what track of what day it is. So, and I don't know if anybody else is going through the seasonal allergy bullshit, but holy crap, here in northern Utah, the frickin' pollen count is off the charts. Anybody with allergies is just suffering right now. It's horrible because it's really dry here always. All the time it's dry where we live. So if there's any wind and it's windy a lot, pollen and whatever just goes ape shit. And if you've got allergies, you're just toast. So dealing with that right now. But I did get my second booster, my COVID booster, being over 50. They allow you to do that. So on that front, I feel pretty damn good about that. But the allergy thing is off the charts. So figure we'll talk a little bit about some gaming news stuff today. We're gonna go through this guy today, Elminster's Ecologies for Forgotten Realms. So we'll go through that today. We'll talk a little bit about the D&D campaign from back here. This past Friday, we're going to do a separate video, obviously, for the campaign update. But we can talk about it a little bit. Because we did lose another character. We had another character go down. So that is 3 of us now our characters have died in this campaign. So it's been brutal. Well, it says I got 5 people in here, but no one's saying hi or anything over here, so I don't know who it is. Hey, Bastille, how are you? So, Bastille, I see you're working on your Bastille on my Discord has sent me some messages, so I know he's working on. Looks like he's working on a Greyhawk adventure campaign or something like that. Hey, Stefan. Bastille, did any of the links that I have provided to any of those help at all? I hope so. Like I said, Cannon Fire and Dragon's Foot, those are both good resources. Greyhawk Online, I think, is the other one. I did start. Hey, Chupa. I did start listening to off and on. I'm listening to Greycast, like when I'm doing stuff here in the office, whether it's cleaning or doing whatever. I throw it on my laptop on the podcast, and so I'm like 2 episodes in. I started from the very beginning, so they're just getting up to speed right now. So who I can't remember who it was that told me about Greycast, but hey, Mistra, how are you? So I don't know who it was that turned me on to Greycast, that podcast, but thank you. So, and Mistra, I've been watching a couple more episodes of The Expanse, or is it The Expanse or Expanse? and they just got to they had to waylay that it commandeer a ship that had a couple people on it uh, to get on to Ganymede or whatever it was, because they're chasing after the pediatrician that has the other guy's daughter or whatever. That's where I'm at. So, um, was it you, Bastille? Thank you for that. Yeah. Mr. says good. Started to play some Dark Souls 2 as a knight using hexes though. Hey, Colin's here too. Hey, all the moderators are here. Right on. Um, oh no worries, Bastille. So, um, so yeah, I've been watching The Expanse, been watching Deep Space Nine, been still playing Star Wars Galaxies, of course. We had our campaign back here Friday, where Randy Midnight died. I know you guys have heard me mention Randy Midnight, the other fighter. There's my character and Randy Midnight with the two fighters. Randy Midnight fell. He got killed by an owl bear. So, yeah, that's three of us now. That is Stesha, Brad, and myself. Our characters, all three of us have lost our first characters and had to roll up new characters. So, okay, yeah, I couldn't. I was pretty sure it was the Expanse. So, it's by far the most unique sci-fi show that I think I've ever watched. And I think I mentioned before, because to me it gives a truer, in my opinion, a truer representation of how space travel and stuff will be in the future. Just using some logic and seeing what they've done with like SpaceX and all that stuff, you know, it seems a lot more realistic with how they're having to do stuff. Hey, Stoker. So, um, Dark Souls not as hard as people say. It's not easy per se, but they act like it's some crazy hard thing, and it's not. Yeah, I got to go back. I want to start with the first one. So, um, I checked that out. There was something else that. So, did anybody pick up any of the classic D&D titles that hit Steam? The gold box titles that hit Steam? I'm interested to know, like, if anybody's been having any issues with compatibility or anything like that. Hey, a new Subnautica game is in development, it says. Let's see here. Unknown Worlds is working on a new sci-fi adventure alongside an unannounced project that is expected to hit early access this year. So, I played the shit out of Subnautica, and that is a good game. I have not played, what is it, Sub-Zero Condition Zero? Subnautica Condition Zero, I think it is. Below Zero. Subnautica Below Zero. I have not played that one yet. But apparently they're working on a new game too. So I don't know if any of you guys have. Yeah, Subnautica, Mistra. Just so you know, I don't know how obsessive of a type of person you are, but if I find a game that like the mechanics just enthrall me, um, like I'm in for like 12 hours. I just get sucked in, and that's what Subnautica did. That was just next thing I knew, it was like hours upon hours had gone by. So, and I haven't played the sequel, Below Zero. That takes place like in a very cold environment, like Antarctica or someplace like that, I think. But the first one was fantastic. Anybody else having issues with seasonal allergies yet? Because we're getting slammed here in Utah. That's why the voice the voice sounds like it does. It's not because I'm sick or anything. It's strictly stupid allergies. Um, That can happen. Played 6 hours of Dark Souls 2 last night, but got 14 in Persona 5 to play as well. So you're good at like budgeting your time across several games. I wish I was better at that. I wish I could say, okay, I'm going to play 2 or 3 hours of Star Wars Galaxies. I'm going to go play then I'm going to play a couple hours of EverQuest 2, and then I'll try something newer. I wish I had that, whatever it is, that mentality or whatever. But I get stuck on one game and I just play the shit out of it. And then when I get bored with it, then I move on to something else, I wish I could budget my time better, but yeah, the EverQuest 2 thing, I need to continue my Let's Play series on that. But they just announced that there's going to be a new time lock server, time lock expansion server that's, I think, in May next month. And so I'm debating on, because if I do it on the time lock server, the last server showed how the game originally was when it first launched, because they've done changes to EverQuest 2 where when it first launched, you had all these what they call neighborhoods, where you had player housing and so forth, and each neighborhood was unique. Each neighborhood was different. You had the Baubleshire, you had the Willowwood, you had what was it, Nettleville Hovel, Starcrest Commune, or something like that. You had all these different neighborhoods and so forth, which had their own sets of quests in those neighborhoods, and it was fantastic. And then at some point, don't know why, the developers just got rid of the neighborhoods and everybody like started in the bigger parts, like North Kenos or South Kenos or Freeport, North Freeport or whatever, the big parts of the city, as opposed to these smaller little neighborhoods. And all those quests that were in the neighborhoods went away. They just poof. They were no longer available. And so many people loved those quest chains in the neighborhoods. Well, the time lock servers, and there's a new one coming in May, the time lock servers, at least the last one, had it where like it was when it first launched, when the game first launched. So it had all the neighborhoods again. And so I'm debating on whether or not to start my Let's Play up again with a new character on the time lock server, so I can show you guys, people that never got to see what that's like. Yeah, so do you remember that, Mistra, with all the individual, or did you start playing after they changed that? Because like with the new changes, when they changed it to the bigger, you start in the bigger parts of the city, you could do what was called a mentor or something like that, quest chain that would send you into one of the neighborhoods to do some quests, but it was nothing like the way it was originally. So yeah, so Mr. Caladim, the time lock server Caladim that they had, did that, and now this is going to be a new one. So I want to kind of show that to you guys, because that's really cool. That really is the classic EverQuest 2 feeling, So, but yeah, that's. Mike says, yeah, allergies are hitting me. Bass says, I'm allergic to work though. Well, I was. Alethra. Hello, AJ. Have you played Elric or Stormbringer? I have not, but I have played some D&D modules that have some of that, some Elric type content in them. So, because the sword Stormbringer is in D&D in first edition. See if I'm caught up here. Looks like I'm caught up. Yep. Some pollen, but not too bad. Mostly stuffy nose and itchy eyes. Yeah, it's not hitting me. Correct, deities and demigods, but there was also, if I remember correctly, there's a couple modules. I'm not going to give out the name because I don't want to do any spoilers in case people are going to, at some point, if they're in a first or second edition campaign, I wouldn't want to spoil it for them. But there is some Elric related content in some of the modules, at least one of the modules for sure. So did anybody see that? And it kind of blows me away, but the Sonic movie, the new Sonic movie, the second Sonic movie, did like gangbusters at the box office. I had no desire to see the first one. I love Sonic the Hedgehog. I have my Sega hooked up to my TV down here, and I have Sonic in there. I think the original Sonic the Hedgehog, and I love that game. But I had no interest in seeing a movie about it. Apparently, the first one did well enough to where they made a sequel, and now the sequel was the #1 movie in the country this past weekend or whatever. That's crazy. I never would have thought that. I did 70 million. 70 million. Let's see here. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 beats weekend opening of first movie with 71 million. That kind of blows me away. The Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore. That one I'm looking forward to, but I had no interest in seeing the Sonic movie. Emiliano Garcia says it's because Jim Carrey said it's his last movie. That's probably got something to do with it. You might have a point there. I've never been a big fan of his comedic stuff. I actually like Jim Carrey when he does dramatic roles. Never liked his style of comedy. Nothing to say that he's a bad guy or whatever, but it just wasn't my thing. But I know a lot of people love his comedy, so that could be a very big reason why. One of the reasons why it's doing well. Bastille Chronic the Hemp Hog. I'm surprised no one has done like a parody of that. Sepulveda, how are you? Yeah, everybody tells me I need to see it. I never saw that, so I guess I need to see. I heard that people have said it's a very difficult movie to watch because it's kind of heavy subject matter, but that he did an incredible job in it. But I remember him in the Truman Show. The Truman Show was fan. They filmed that at Universal when I was there doing this. We provided security for that. Let's see here. So, Sepulveda, you just mentioned your back. My lower back hurts horribly every morning when I get up, and I do stretches, and I do exercises every morning. So I still exercise. I walk. I do stretches. I do all this stuff, and then usually by noon or so, it has loosened up to where it's not hurting me as bad. But that's one of the reasons why I retired, because I was walking between 3 and 4 miles a day on my what do you call it, step tracker or whatever, on concrete at work, because I was a pool guy and I'm on concrete all day there, and 3 or 4 miles on concrete with no cushion, no give at all, was fucking wrecking my back. In addition to having to move around 55-gallon drum barrels of chemicals, which weigh about 600 pounds a piece, having to shove those around, manhandle those around. And then we had other smaller barrels that were about 160 pounds, 170 pounds of chlorine. And I would literally have to pick those up and move those 170, pounds. and all that shit plus the concrete and all that, it was killing my back. I literally, that's why I just, it was one of the reasons why I retired. I was like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. It's just killing me, you know. But um, yeah, when you get to a certain age, uh, the back doesn't give a shit if you're in shape, out of shape, uh, weightlifter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. At a certain age, your back just will say, "Fuck you. I ain't doing it anymore." Your back will just, yeah, um, yeah. It's um, Bastille says, I've been blessed with a strong back. I have problems with my hands. I've been a program since the 80s and it's taken a toll. I can believe that. Yeah, my wife has been a hairstylist for over 45 years. And she has never, knock on wood, gotten carpal tunnel in all those years. But if you look at her hands are all gnarled and shit too, just from the repetitive, motion and all that. So let's see here. Your center of gravity is your waist. You use it all the time. Yep. Yeah, and luckily I was, I was a weightlifter when I was in my senior year of high school. I got heavy into weightlifting and all that, and then I went from that directly in the Army, and I got second high PT, physical training, final on our final test in the Army in basic training. One guy got a perfect score, and I just was just behind that. I didn't do perfect on the run, so I was in shape. I mean, but and so I've always been strong, but the back, it doesn't seem to care how strong you are. It just, yeah, yeah. Luckily, my knee, I haven't had issues with my knees. Knock on wood. I know a lot of people that have, but I think that I got lucky there. It's weird we're talking about this because I'm actually wearing my shirt. It's not the years, it's the mileage. Um, that that can go that can be said about people too, not just cars. So yeah, my buddy that makes these shirts, the Rusty VW, he does the artwork. Um, I don't know if you guys know who Gabriel Iglesias is, the comedian, Fluffy, the big guy, big Hispanic guy. Um, he makes all his because Fluffy, he loves Volkswagen buses. He collects them. He's got like 30 of them. The comedian, um, and so my buddy Finn, he does all of his shirts, all of Gabriel Iglesias's like t-shirts that has this kind of artwork. It's all done by my buddy the Rusty VW. So um, pinch nerves hurt and reduces the amount of energy. Yeah. Mr. Garcia says amazing Volkswagens are rare and popular. Yeah, that's why my buddy got into it. Was they start several years back started to really, the rare ones, the old ones, started to really go up in price and became really collectible, and they have like conventions and stuff for Volkswagens, and he started going and just selling his shirts and stuff at there, and then he ended up meeting Jay Leno, and he ended up meeting Gabriel Iglesias, and so it kind of took off from there. So yeah, put your glasses on, Bastille. Yeah, it's mileage. MI mileage. Yeah. Yeah. There's a Zapova that says, so if you have lower back problems, it must be all the muscles and nerves that pass through the pelvis. I believe that. There's actually a YouTuber, Dr. Joe. She's a first of all, she's a medical doctor, and she's a physical therapist. She holds both certifications. So she's an MD and a physical therapist. And she's on here, and her channel is Ask Dr. Joe, J-O. Um, and she has videos. She's been around for years. She has videos for every kind of like stretch, and exercise for like certain things. And so the stretches that I do are the ones that Dr. Joe shows on YouTube for lower back problems and all that stuff. So if you ever have any kind of pain, shoulder, it could be any kind of pain, shoulder pains, elbow pains, knee, back, whatever. If you go to Ask Dr. Joe's YouTube channel, she will have videos. And matter of fact, she helped me with my vertigo because I have vertigo too, where I get dizzy sometimes, and when it's real bad, I have to take medication for it. She actually has stuff on there. She has exercises for vertigo on her channel too, where you basically look ahead and then you look to this side and hold it for a certain amount of seconds, and then you all these different eye action, and it actually relieves vertigo. So I can't recommend her enough. She's fantastic. Some are working 100%, some are 70%, some are 30, some are even paralyzed. I believe that when it comes to the back and stuff. But yeah, the stretching and all that stuff does help. So got quite a few of you in here. Did you guys want to see this stuff? You want to see Elminster's Ecologies, this box set? So this is Forgotten Realm stuff, and I'm the Greyhawk guy, but I do have a lot of Forgotten Realm stuff too. I used to be an LMT. Your knees are your circulation. Though it may be your back, it also be living is between the muscles and the fascia. As a gamer, we're always sitting down. Huge Final Fantasy 14 update tomorrow. Patch 6.1. Yeah, Greyhawk is awesome. So, but now in this box, I have this in here just because it didn't really fit into any other category. So I just threw it in here because it's also ecologies. This is the Dragon Magazine Monster Ecologies. This is the kind of like the compilation. So this looks like it came out during 3rd edition because there's the 3rd edition logo. So if you were interested in picking this up, I don't even know where it came from, where I got it from or whatever, but yeah. So anyway, I just happen to have that in the box, so I figured I'd show that too. And that's all basically the Monster Ecology is all about a deep dive in all these different monsters and stuff, D&D monsters and stuff. And then I have 2 of these for some reason. They're both in shrink wrap. Elminster's Ecologies. This is these are ones that this is one that came out after the box set. This is the Battle of Bones, Hill of Lost Souls. And it's all about ecology features of the Battle of Bones region, the Hill of Lost Souls region, and a complete set of encounter charts. So these ecologies, these Elminster's ecologies, basically is a section of the map, the Forgotten Realms map, that Elminster himself, the NPC uber wizard of Forgotten Realms, basically did like all kinds of research on it, and then they put it into these formats, these books. And it's written, I don't know if this is all done by Ed Greenwood or not. Let's see here. No, these are not done by they're not done by Greenwood himself. It looks like they're done by a few different people. But the way this box set is laid out, you have the Explorer's Manual that the players can actually read. I was reading through the back of this and everything. And it basically goes into, it's written 3rd person from Elminster's perspective. And like right here, it says, an investigation into the natural systems of organisms and their surroundings. And it's by Elminster of Shadowdale. And then it's written from his perspective to the adventurers. So the adventurers get to read this. And then the DM has all of these individual books here on different areas. This is the settled lands, and basically each one of these is to set up adventures. But it goes through everything. It goes through the weather. It goes through the ecosystems, as far as what animals are there, what monsters are there. It goes into a lot of detail about all that kind of stuff. So it's great. Part 2, the monsters, and then it has a section on the monsters for this particular area. And each one of these, it looks like, are 32 pages. So this box set has a shit ton of these in here. I don't know how many are in here. There's about 10, I think. The Settled Lands, Anarok, Comanthor, the Thunder Peaks, and the Storm Horns, and it just goes on and on. So if you DM in first or second edition in Forgotten Realms, this box set, this Elminster's Ecology, is a ton of content for you to put into your campaign if you didn't already know about this. So let me get caught up here. Let's see here. Meliano Garcia says Doom Grinder. I have Doom Grinder. I have everything that was ever printed for Greyhawk. I have literally anything that was ever printed for Greyhawk. I have. So Doom Grinder is one of my, I've never read it, but I have it. That's newer Doom Grinder is newer Greyhawk, like late second edition Greyhawk stuff. Let's see if I can read anything here. Okay. Bastille says, curious, how does the 4x4 fit in with Greyhawk? I thought I couldn't just use Greyhawk because that's like trademarked. You know, if you just use that word, I believe that Wizards still owns that or whatever. So I wanted something additional with that. And I drive a 4-wheel drive truck. So I just said Greyhawk 4x4. So there you go. Mr. says this is talking about Final Fantasy 14 still. New dungeon, new trial, new Unreal trial, new PvP mode, new housing district, new alliance raids, new main story, new side story, and more. We are spoiled. Yes, you are, because that is sounds like a shit ton of content. Is that all free? A free update, Mistra? That update you're talking about, 6.1 or whatever it was? Is that free, or is that paid content? So, Zapova says also, and if you have lower back problems with time, it can be do damage to your knees too, because there are big muscles on your leg that are connected from our waist to our knees. Yeah, that's not. I mean, that's one reason why I do the exercising and I do stretches every day and all to try and mitigate some of that. So hopefully. Mister says, fun fact about Elminster, he is Mistra's favorite server, the goddess, not me. I believe that. Again, I'm not a big into the Forgotten Realms lore, but I know that he is the wizard of Forgotten Realms, so that makes sense. Lance Coleman. I can't help but wonder if by my listening to this channel live while listening to another live how D&D playthrough channel, if or why or cannot, could confusion be feedbacking? Peace out. Could be if you're listening to it once, yeah. If you study basic anatomy and have a background in engineering, you can understand how the structure of the body gets damaged through time. Well, yeah, and I need, like a lot of us need to drop quite a few pounds too. That would help too, which I have dropped over time considerable. I'm not nearly as heavy as I once was. So, what kind of truck? I have a Dodge Ram. My second one. My first one, I got almost 200,000 miles on it. I got almost 200,000, I think. I was at 180 or 190 or something like that. And I had it it was a 98. This one that I have now is a 2005. So I had it and I bought it in 97. It was a 98 model. So I had it for however many years that is there. And I bought the 2005. The 2005 I bought in 2006. It was one of the last ones they still had. So yeah. So about 18, 19 years, I guess, I had my first one, and now I'm on my second one. So I don't like this truck as much as I did the older one. The older one, this has newer gadgets and toys and shit on it, obviously, with the hands-free texting and all that kind of shit. But as far as like the feeling solid and capable, my other truck was they're white. I always get white. And the reason that you get a white for me, if you live in a region where it gets hot, I mean really hot, like 100 degrees. If you go onto a car lot and any color car other than white, it's 100-degree, 90-degree day, 100-degree day. You go put your hand on the hood, you'll burn your hand. You go put your hand on a white car, you will not burn your hand. It does not absorb as much heat. The white reflects some of the heat and doesn't absorb as much. So hence, it's easier to keep in the cabin cooler on hot days. So yeah. I never understood people that live in like Phoenix that get a black car. I mean, literally you're making it even harder for that vehicle's air conditioning and everything else to keep the cabin cool because it's just baking in all that heat from the sun, all that solar energy and everything. So that's why I get white. I definitely don't get a black truck. Yep, that's one of the reasons. Now, if I lived someplace, like if I lived in Germany, I would have no problem getting any color vehicle because it was pretty temperate year round. I mean, it got cold in the winter and everything, but as far as like it never got into these blistering heat waves, 100-degree. It just didn't happen. So, have a good one. I was just saying that Greyhawk 4x4, the Doom Grinder itself. Gotcha. See ya, Emiliano. Yes, mine has because I have the Hemi, so there's a small hood scoop or something, air intake scoop or something like that. Mr. says it can get 30 degrees Celsius now in summer in Europe, and that's pretty hot. Some days even 35. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It's been so many years since I lived there. My conversion table in my head isn't as good as it used to be. But I know 30 degrees Celsius is pretty warm. Isn't I want to say 30 is that equivalent to about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. So did anybody have any questions about any of this Elminster stuff before I put it away here? I don't know how I got 2 of these in shrink wrap. I might have bought these at that same sale where I got all that other stuff at KB Toys or them. I might have just picked those up then. I don't know. The fact I don't have either one of them open is kind of nice that I've got 2 in shrink wrap. But there's the back. So, what you think about Elminster? I guess. Well, it just shows that I don't DM in Forgotten Realms. Because if I had, I'm sure I would have tore into one of those to get some ideas and so forth. If I ever do, when I start DMing again, if I ever do, like, if I was to do some type of multiverse idea where there were portals, let's say, and the players end up in a different um, game world. Let's say they go from Greyhawk and they end up in Faerun, Forgotten Realms, then perhaps that's a possibility. That could happen. You know, um, planar travel and multiverse and all that's none of that's out of the realm of possibilities when I DM. So here comes Elminster to fuck up Greyhawk's evil. Could you imagine? Could you imagine Elminster and Mordenkainen teaming up? You imagine those two? I don't think there's anything that could, if those two were together, that could defeat them. Well, if you got into like deities and stuff like that, I guess. But Minnesota Twin Cities can get up to 95 plus with humid air in July and August, but it doesn't last long. I would not have thought that Minnesota, as high up north as you guys are, that it could get 95 plus. I wouldn't have thought. I could see, pushing 90, maybe 91, 90. I was thinking somewhere in there, maybe in the summertime. I wouldn't have thought they would get above 95. Damn. Yeah, Bahamut or something. No mortals probably. Well, maybe dead ones, but but they're gone lore wise. Yeah. So there's all kinds of possibility. That's one of the reasons why I love tabletop role playing so much, because literally the only limit is your imagination. What kind of crazy shit can you come up with? Now, if you come up with some crazy ass idea, but you don't plan it out well, and you don't have the infrastructure in place to support the idea, it can go off the rails really fast. Like if you were to just say, "Oh, like say in my Greyhawk campaign, if I just said, "Oh, Cloche, Cloche is my he's kind of my Volo." If you're familiar with Volo from Forgotten Realms, the cartographer that goes around and travels and makes maps and tells stories and rumors and sings songs and all that shit. Cloche is the equivalent in my Greyhawk campaign. If Cloche was to come in one day and say, "Hey, there's word in the city of Greyhawk that there's some new high-powered wizard that just appeared, going by the name of Elminster." If I just did that, and then the player characters said, "Oh, let's go and find out what that's about," and they go to Greyhawk, they travel to Greyhawk, but I haven't done any of the work to like have a full backstory as to how and why, who, where, when, what, why, and how he got there, Elminster got there, and all that. If I hadn't done that work, then that can fall flat or just go off the rails, because the player characters are going to be asking all kinds of questions that, if I haven't done the work as a DM to support the idea of someone like Elminster or planar traveling to Greyhawk, if I haven't done the work, that's going to fucking die. That whole idea is just going to fall flat. But so it's all about how much work the DM is willing to put in. So right. I'll just say my player character starts at level 20 with multiple magic items because she was chosen by Mister. Don't question it. Exactly. Yeah. So a 1970s panel van with a wizard painted on the side was found in a mine in the world of Greyhawk. Yeah. It's like, uh, you know, how did that happen? Where's the work that went into like make that time travel element a thing? But now, Alethra, now what you're going to make me do is you're going to make me go on Google and see pictures from the 1970s, the panel vans, and see if there's any with wizards on. I'm sure there are. I remember the ones from the 70s because I'm old enough to remember the 70s. I remember the ones that had like unicorns and shit like that on the side of the vans, and rainbows and unicorns and shit like that, um, with all kinds of like cool paint jobs and stuff like that. Um, but I don't remember if there was a wizard. Let's see. Okay, so just a quick search here. So there is somebody riding a polar bear. Hey, there's a pirate one. Somebody with a pirate on the painted on the side of it to make it look like a ship. That one's pretty cool. That one is really cool. Um, damn, you just sent me down a rabbit hole. I'm gonna be looking at all these pictures. There's some really badass looking vans. Hey, there's the unicorn with the rainbows. I just found it. I was just literally telling you guys that, and I just found it. I don't know. I don't think I can. Unfortunately, I don't think I can. Oh, I know what I could do. I could put it on my Discord. I'm gonna save that image and I'm gonna put that on my Discord. Yeah, I that's got to go on my Discord. Oh, there's the wizard right there. Okay. Yeah, he's got a wizard with a crystal ball. Yep. Yeah. Thanks, Alethra. You just sent me down a rabbit hole, and now I'm going to be going on and checking out all these old vans and stuff. I'm sure you can probably still. I'm sure someone somewhere is selling one of those old panel vans like that with the cool painting on the side. They found a black ship off the coast of the Forgotten Realms. Skeletons say it's called the Black Pearl. Apparently, adventurers have gone looking for pearls on this ship. Yeah, that see, there's another adventure hook right there. And then you got to do the work as to how did that happen? How did that ship get there? What is the infrastructure that's in place for that to happen? Is there a wormhole? Is there portals? Is there some evil deity that is manipulating time itself to support time travel and multi-dimensional, multiverse? And yeah, so all good ideas. So let's see here. There was a couple other things that I wanted to on the gaming news front that I thought I wanted to talk about. So I guess the new Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, dropped, and apparently it's doing quite well because it's one of the top. I think it may be the top selling game on Steam right now. I probably won't pay full price for it. I'll wait, but not to mention I've got other Lego games that I haven't even played yet. So, oh, here's the other story was Chrono Cross and other classics suddenly expiring on PS3 and Vita. So over the last several days, PlayStation users have reported strange decades-old expiration dates being applied to their digital games. Upon re-downloading the PS1 classic version of Chrono Cross, for instance, Twitter user Christopher Foose was told the purchase expired on December 31st, 1969. What the hell? Preventing him from playing the game on both PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita. See, we talked about this before. That this bullshit of everything just being digital, it's like there's going to have to be a lawsuit at some point with a class action lawsuit with one of these issues where it actually goes to a high level court, and there's a ruling that it's going to have to go one way or the other. It's going to have to go that game companies cannot do that. They cannot, once they take your money, they cannot just for an arbitrary reason just pull that game from your library and you could no longer have access to it when you've paid for it. or the court is going to decide that the was it EULA or whatever end user license agreement is enough to support that they can do that. But at some point, there's going to have to be a court ruling setting precedent one way or the other. Either yes, they can do that, or no, they can't. And the reason I say that is once that ruling is made, then any purchases you make after the ruling, you as the consumer knew the risks. You knew that yes, the court has already said they can yank that anytime they want to, or the court has said no, they cannot do that. But until we have that type of ruling from some court, basically the game companies themselves are making the rules. They can pull shit whenever they want to, and because there's no case law, there's no precedent set by any court, they're gonna get away with it. So let's hope that there's going to be some legislation or court ruling or something down the road that at least after that period, gamers will know before they put their money out, they cannot yank this once I pay for it. They can't take it away from me, or I'm willing to take the risk and still put my money out, even though I know that they could if they wanted to yank it. Because at this point right now, it's the wild, wild west, and the game companies can do whatever the fuck they want, and that's shitty. But that's the reality right now. So, but at some point, it's going to go to the courts. There's just too much money involved with the millions and billions of dollars that gamers put out for products that it won't end up in a court at some point. They're not lining up as companies to do that because they would lose. It's not logical or legal reasons to allow basic marketing, renting games as owned. So everything you just said there makes perfect sense, Mistra. Except in this country, unfortunately, capitalism wins more times than it loses. And if the court that makes the decision has judges on it that lean one way or the other, and they happen to say lean in favor of capitalism at all costs, I could see them actually ruling in the company's favor. I could see them saying, well, as long as it's in the ULR, the license agreement or whatever, that's buyer beware. I could see them pulling some bullshit like that. Don't put any stupidity past the corporate mentality of the United States of America. Now, as far as other parts of the world go, I don't know how that would pan out. But as far as the United States goes, we have a bad history of corporate America winning most of the time, and then the consumers are the ones that get screwed. That's just reality, unfortunately. So, anyway, did anybody else have any other questions about anything before we wrap this up? We got into some interesting stuff here today. There will be a campaign update to go over the loss of Randy Midnight. Good old Randy fell to an owlbearer in our latest session there. So he was the strongest. He was by far the strongest character of our party. So that means that my original fighter died, and now I'm on my second one. Now Randy Midnight's that character has died, and now Brad is having to play a new character. And our DM, when we start new characters, we start at level 2. So Randy Midnight was like level 3 or 4 or something like that. So it definitely weakens us as a whole whenever we have a player death. I want to see if I have Randy Midnight's the new character that is replacing Randy Midnight, played by Brad, is Gooch Grimgem. That is the new character. Mr. says, I know that owlbears are no joke in Pathfinder or D&D. Yeah, they get like a claw bite, 3 attacks, claw in the beak as a bite, and then if the DM rolls high enough, there's a percentage chance of a grapple, and then they basically just do a bear hug, and they, in a certain amount of rounds, they basically just squeeze the life out of the character, unless the creature's killed or whatever. But so there's the claw bite, and there's the grapple, and we in Dolmenwood that we're playing in, the idea of the resurrecting a character has not come up yet. I'm not saying that's not possible. We did our characters did bury Randy Midnight where he fell. So if at some point down the road we end up having a conversation with somebody, at a cleric or something like that, at a sanctuary or a church or something like that, and they mention that, I don't see why we couldn't go back and recover his remains to try and get him resurrected. But there's going to be a lot of money involved. It'll be very expensive and all that. But not to say it couldn't happen. So yeah, my character was eaten by a dragon. Petunia, the Grimalkin cat person character, she was killed by the rag and bone dude, the bird guy, and then Randy Midnight was killed by an owlbear. So we've all 3 of the characters have died in horrific ways. So right, yeah, we're all still low level Mistra, so we haven't that concept hasn't been introduced to our characters yet, but at some point, yeah. So, but anyway, tomorrow I'll do the campaign update, and we'll go into more detail about everything that happened and all that. So, I don't have anything else. We talked about some gaming news. We went over the Elminster's ecologies. We talked a little bit about the campaign. We talked about back pain and unicorns on the side of 70s vans and movies and all this shit. So multiverses and time travel and yeah, Doctor Strange. I'm looking forward to the Doctor Strange movie. I have to be, I don't know about you, but when it comes to that, like the first Doctor Strange movie, I think I've seen it twice now. I gotta be able to concentrate on that shit, because otherwise I'll get lost on all the twists and turns and everything. So I know the next movie, Madness of the Multiverse or whatever it is, man, I'm gonna have to be able to just concentrate. No distractions. Just pay attention to what the hell's happening on screen, so I can follow the story, because I know it's gonna get crazy. So. All right, guys. Until tomorrow, then we will catch you on the flip side. Unless there's any other questions, comments, or anything else, I'm out. So, cheers, guys. I don't think I missed any. If I did miss anything, I apologize. I don't think. I don't think I missed anything. So, all right, guys. Cheers. We'll talk to you later. Take it easy. Catch you on the flip side. Almost forgot my sign out there.